YouTube, it's Sam here from Chalice and Chains. I'm going to do a short video today on description, particularly in combat, how you can use that to make the game a little more exciting, and the balance that you need to kind of walk between DM description and player description. I realized I should probably title this video series like Views from My Car or something, because it seems like all my videos are me sitting in my car, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I did a one shot the other day, and I'll go ahead and I'll put a link in the description down below, which I think I did a pretty good job at allowing the players to describe their actions, their attacks, the effect of those attacks, and then me jumping in with a little bit extra flavor, meaning like one of the players, for example, was, they were fighting like what I called a lava colossus. It was a creature that had, kind of fire inside of it. And so what would happen is, the description was, as they were hitting this thing, chunks of the magma or whatever would come off, and they would see the fire inside. And well, one of them was using an ice weapon, and so he would describe, okay, and then part of the this guy's like rock plating or whatever would freeze, and would have this. And so I would embellish on that because that was a great description, and I would say, yeah, and you also notice that on that particular part the fire goes out underneath. But I'm curious to find out what other people do, particularly GMs in this case, and what style do you guys prefer, both as a GM and as a player? Because for me, I'm very much the, okay, you describe to me what happens kind of DM, versus the, okay, you hit, I'll tell you what happens. I hate that as a player, so I don't like to do it as a DM either. But I also want to be careful that I'm not jacking their description, so to speak, meaning that if they come up with something cool, I don't want to add on to what happens. I want to describe the effect of what they tell me. And I don't know if I did that or not in the other game, and if I did, I hope I didn't do it too much. I should probably go back and watch it, but I'm curious as to what you guys do in that case. So I'd love some feedback on that. Particularly what I'm talking about is, and the other thing I wanted to mention was, I like to give the PCs the knowledge of what the armor class is of the thing that they're fighting right up front. So for example, this creature I think had an armor class of 17. So I told the player, or 18 or something. So I told the players that, its armor class is 18, so that they don't have to say, I roll this, and then I say, okay, you hit, roll damage. What they can do with that is they already know if they hit or miss. And so if they miss, they can describe their miss and make it more cinematic, instead of just, oh, I rolled a 5, I missed. Okay, next or if they hit, they already know they hit, they roll the damage, and then they describe the way that works. I do still tend to, they'll tell me the roll, I'll say you hit, and then I have them do that. And I'm going to try to stop doing that. I think what I'm going to really try is, to say, hey, listen, here's the armor class, you tell me you tell me what happens. You tell me, okay, if you hit the creature or not. If you hit the creature and you deal it some damage, tell me that. Oh, great, yep, I hit him with my longsword, and as my blade connects, it tears. I can feel it tear through the armor, tear a rent in his armor, and the blood starts to seep out over the sword, and I notice it, coming out through the fresh rent in the armor. As I pull my sword out, it shines with blood, and I wipe it off on the ground. Something like that, as opposed to, oh, I hit him slashing under his armor for 6 points of damage. That's boring. I mean, certainly I need them to tell me how much damage they deal, but man, how much better is it just to say, hey, describe exactly what happens. Or if you fail, to hit him, you say, I swing with my sword, but he, with almost blazing fast speed, brings his sword around in a sweeping arc and parries my blade, knocking it to the side. I manage to hold on to it, but just barely keep my footing as he, you know, gives out a laugh at my pathetic swing, something like that. You know, like how cool would that be as a player to describe that, and as other players to hear that description, because then you can build on that. So the next player says, you know, they roll, they realize they hit, and they say, you know, although he just had this, you know, amazing parry of, you know, the knight's longsword, I managed to sneak in with my 2 short swords and get right up underneath his armor, you know, and with a slash, and he bellows out in pain as the blood gushes from, you know, his open wound, you know, something like that. So let me know, do you guys do that? What do you tend to favor in terms of descriptive combat, and both as a player and as a GM? So, you know, I'd love your thoughts. You know, leave some comments. You know, let's talk about it more. Have a good one.